In 1985, a group of men of Temple Israel of Natick put their talents together to meet the needs of their temple, creating a new sanctuary ark, amongst other things, for the temple. After 30 years of pooling their talents, that is, they are known as the ark builders and have donated their time to help other areas of our community. Today, these volunteers and their spirit of community has led to the creation of a book, The Ark Builders. So I welcome co-authors today, Jay Ball and his son David, and it has been my privilege to know this family for many years who have done so much for so many. How does it feel, Dad, to have your son working with you on this book?
It's pretty terrific. It's pretty terrific. Actually, it was all his idea.
No.
No, seriously, it was. David said about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago now, said, "Gee, Dad, I think you ought to write a book about the ark builders." I said, "Good heavens, why? Who would care?" You know. And he explained to me why.
And that's a good question. Why should somebody care?
Yeah, why should somebody care?
Well, I think you also are showing other faith-based communities a responsibility they could take up. That's my thought.
Well, one of the things that we want to do is we'd like to do a series of events when the book comes out. And we've entitled it Building Community, Sacred and Secular. And it talks about how when people have a passion, when they have an interest and they get together to do things, how that creates something more than just putting together pieces of wood or whatever it is that the end product is. And I think that that's something valuable now. There's a sense, I have a sense, that there's pushback in the world about having community and doing for others, that people focus on themselves. And the ark builders are a wonderful example of people who have gotten together and pooled their talents and built some beautiful furniture.
You know, in the epilogue, this is one of the two lines that really impressed me. Along the way, they learned about woodcraft, and working with each other was a form of worship. That was so touching. That's what happens. People working together is also a form of worship. For that, I think the ark builders could use a really big pat on the back. Now, who were the people that started this?
There were four of us. In 1984, the temple found itself on the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, with several hundred more people wanting to come to services than we had room for. So it became, we had to turn them away. And it became clear that we were going to have to do something. And this problem had been building for years as the congregation grew. So in 1985, we set up a tent in the back parking lot behind the temple. Tent seated 400 people.
Ooh.
And that very nicely took care of the overcrowding issue. But we needed, obviously, to conduct services, we needed, excuse me, not only a rabbi and a cantor, but we also needed an ark to hold the Torahs, and a couple of readers' desks, and a stand to hold Torahs when they were outside of the ark. And so we looked in catalogs to see what we could buy, and we couldn't find anything that was suitable. Everything was expensive and, well, to be honest, ugly. And none of it, but most important, none of it folded up. And the Temple Israel, like any institution, has a storage problem. Where do you put things? And these are pieces of furniture that are really needed only, you know, during 1 week during the year and had to be stored away. So a couple of us volunteered that we could design it and build these 4 pieces of furniture. And we'd make it so that they could be taken apart or that they'd fold up. And so we did. So 4 of us got together and over the space of, I don't know, a month or so, built these 4 pieces, an ark, 2 readers' desks, and a Torah stand. And they were used. They worked quite well. And we thought we were done. That was, we shook each other's hands, checked for, we all had 10 fingers. And so that was going to be the end of it. A couple of years went by, and someone, I can't remember who now, asked me, I think it was, whether or not that group of guys who had built the stuff for the tent could make them an ark for the religious school. They wanted a portable ark.
Oh.
And I said, well, I don't know, I'll go talk to the guys. And I talked to the other 3, and they said, yeah, sure. So we got together again. And that was the beginning of a 29-year odyssey where almost every year we have built a new piece of furniture, or in some cases made major modifications to the temple itself. We've completely rebuilt the sanctuary. And it's been an adventure, and it's, as I say, it's been going on for almost 3 decades now.
It's a beautiful sanctuary. I think I was only in there once, and you and Ricky, I think both of you were given awards for something. I can't remember why I was there. It was some award evening. But anyway, so now you have built for the Service Council, you built something for them, and a place to turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably missing. Well, I know you've revamped some units at the Natick Housing Authority.
We did. After we ran out of projects after 20 or 25 years.
They kept asking, but
we had kind of built everything the temple needed inside, and in fact rebuilt some of the stuff because it had gotten old. And so we looked for projects outside of the temple. We had, a number of years ago, been doing renovations to our school wing, and that had filled the building with plaster dust, and so much so that we couldn't use our own sanctuary for Saturday services.
Oh my gosh.
So we made a deal with the Hartford Street Presbyterian Church down the street to use their sanctuary on Saturdays, and so on Friday afternoon we would come in, take down the crucifixes, take out all their stuff.
Yes, of course.
Bring in our ark. Saturday we would have Sabbath services there. At the end of the day on Saturday, we'd put our stuff away. We'd hang the crucifixes back up on the walls again, and they would have their sanctuary for Sunday. So we were so grateful. I mean, the temple was obviously very grateful for this
kind of stop
extraordinary generosity. So I don't recall what the temple did to say thank you, but the ark builders, and we are quite independent of Temple Israel. We report to no one.
You report to no one. I like that.
We don't ask anybody for their opinion about whether they like what we're going to design.
Too bad if they do. They don't.
And so we decided we
well,
wanted.
and they also self-fund everything. I mean, one of the extraordinary things when I look at the ark builders is they don't have a hierarchy. There's nobody who's assigned to be in charge. They don't report to anybody. They don't have funds. It's a very organic group.
So it's not funded by the temple?
Nope.
No, they find whatever resources they need to put things together.
We rob a few banks.
Because that's where the money is.
But anyway, so we decided we were going to make a gift. We, the ark builders, were going to make something for the Hartford Street Presbyterian Church. And we chatted with Rick Rhodes, who was the pastor, and came up with the idea of a table for their lobby. And so we built them a table, but it's a very unusual table. And if anybody has an opportunity to go in there and see it, it's quite beautiful. It's a, but I don't know, 6 or 8 feet long, sort of boat-shaped table, glass top, underneath of which is this wavy, beautiful walnut, wavy surface. So it's really a most unusual piece.
Sounds
anyway,
extraordinary.
we branched out. We built. Anyone who's been in the children's room at the Morse Library has seen the castle, and we built the castle,
You've
the little
been there,
playhouse.
It's worth seeing. It's
worth
pretty
a trip.
remarkable.
It's a wonderful, wonderful
Next
little
time
thing.
I go to the library, I'll go downstairs.
Well, and the kids, every single day, I was talking to one of the librarians, and she said every day the little kids, and it's really designed for 2 and 3 year olds, they come rushing into the room, and the first thing they do is they say hello to the fish, and then they run into the castle and they do little puppet shows and stuff.
Oh,
And let me see, A Place to Turn, the food pantry, which is right next to the Hartford Street Presbyterian, was rebuilding their interior, revamping and expanding their
Right.
interior. And they indicated that they had a need for a reception desk. And through Rick Rhodes, he hooked
that
the
I
art
saw
builders
one
up.
time when I was in there.
And
And they did the shelving as well.
so
Yeah.
a couple of our guys built them a very nice reception desk. And let's see, what else have we done? And then when Ricky, my wife Ricky, made it clear that the housing authority, she was on the board of the Natick Housing Authority, had a number of properties that were vacant and needed renovation before they could be re-rented. She said, well, the art builders don't seem to be very busy these days. What do you say, you guys? I said,
Spoken like a true wife.
yes, she was. And so we had a Sunday morning meeting. We always meet on Sunday mornings and have bagels and lox at Debson, the paint store in downtown Natick.
Oh, was he one of the art builders?
Ben Greenberg, the owner of Debson,
Yes,
is
I
one of the
remember that
original
name.
4.
I'm sorry?
He's one of the original 4.
Yes, and you had an engineer
Well,
as the original 4?
yeah, actually 3 of us are engineers.
Oh, okay.
Ben operates paint and wallpaper. John Miller is an engineer. I was an engineer, and Fred Merkowitz, also an engineer. So anyway, Ricky said, how about it, guys? And I put it before the group, and we took a tour. I got a key and let him into one of these units, which were pretty tired looking. I mean, they get kind of beat up.
Yeah.
And so we wound up renovating 5 houses, and there were 5 families living in nice, clean, code-compliant homes that might not be had we not done what we did. But it was nice because we got a little bit of press, and we started to get phone calls from people to say, can we come and help? Now, this is Natick at its finest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's a great town. It's
we got a
great
call from
town.
Mark St. Hilaire. He said, listen, we've got an active congregation over at St. Paul's, and we got a bunch of people who'd be happy to help out, painting and cleaning. And so we had crews from St. Paul's come. We had some people from Hartford Street Presbyterian. We even had some people from New Jersey come. And a few
Jersey.
Natick citizens just came out of the woodwork, whom I'd never met.
To wood on the woodwork.
To work
yeah.
on the wood,
Yeah.
to work on the woodwork. So it was a project that had legs.
Well, now I'd like to hear, or the viewers would like to hear, the collaboration between the 2 of you on the book.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been delightful. My dad is a force of nature.
Yes.
He's a Renaissance man.
Yes. Agree.
Well, I mean, he does a lot of things well. You'll when you see the book, the photography is lovely, and all of the photographs are both of the pictures of things under construction and the final photographs. It looks very professional, and he's done them all. All of the line drawings, the schematics that are used to assemble these unusual pieces of furniture, and virtually everything has waves and curves, and it's very artistic. He's the principal designer for the Ark Builders, and he writes well. He's written the lion's share of the text. A concern that I had, and it wasn't a large concern, was that having such a strong personality and having strong ideas about what he wanted might be difficult to work with, and that hasn't been the case. Has not been the case at all.
I'm sure.
It's a very respectful, collegial relationship, and it's been delightful. It's been nice.
Did you choose your son to work with you, or did he?
No, I say it was his idea to write
So
the book.
it's his idea.
Yes, it was his idea. I would never have done
So
this.
he kind of roped you in. Oh, shoot.
Well,
There goes my phone. I forgot to.
I don't know if we want to put it that way.
Oh, I hate that. Okay, let's talk louder, because I'm not getting up. Now, Rabbi Kushner had a part in this book?
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate. Rabbi Kushner, who is the Rabbi Emeritus at Temple Israel and has been there for, well over 50 years.
Close to 50. I know we celebrated a 40th year of association some time ago.
Is a very well-known, on the New York Times bestseller list for
Oh, yes.
a number of books. Probably the most notable is When Bad Things Happen to Good People.
Oh, yes.
And
I read that book.
did you?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I read it a long time ago, so I can't remember everything I read.
But
it's about his son.
Well, it's
In part.
And about, in general, but about primarily his son
Yeah.
that had that rare disease. So,
Yeah. We're honored that he's associated with the book, that he sees value in it. And I mean, what this is it's a celebration of members of the of the temple that have gotten together to create things. And I think having him write the foreword, and it's a wonderful little foreword, really adds something to the book. It adds some gravitas.
I think that's great. Now, you're going to be having future events in a website, right? You got a website coming up?
Yeah, the website is www.arcbuildersbook.com.
Okay, so we make sure that we give it to Dan, that information. He'll put it up.
Sure.
You know, his credits.
Sure, we haven't made it live yet
Okay.
because the book is not available yet.
Yeah.
It won't be back from the printer until September, and we won't have our first events until like late November.
But the two of you must really have enjoyed working together on this.
It's been
Because I saw you in that play that you had, Tuesday with Maury. I love that story to start with. I read that book, and you two were absolutely fabulous in that play.
Well, except David wasn't in it.
I was still fabulous, though.
It was his,
wasn't-
it
No,
was
that
his
was
brother,
my
Alan.
brother. My brother's.
Oh.
That's okay.
And they look a lot alike, except
That's
for
okay.
their-
My brother's an actor, and I'm a nurse, so
Oh, okay.
that's okay.